readable, you can say that they are scholarly. Okay, you'll see that. But pencil scribblings by dirty-minded little boys are probably not in that category. Okay? If a book is described, the pages are described as crisp. Yeah, it's very pretty, but probably more applies to lettuce. And it's not a synonym for brittle as in burnt to a crisp. Okay? Cropped. This is if the book has been trimmed or cut down from its original size. So catchwords and numbers that are at the tops and bottoms of pages, if it's mutilated, you can say, well, it's slightly trimmed. Okay? So, but if the bottom lines are gone, well, you're on your own. Alright? So there are some binders that do love to wield the knife against books. And they should indeed have this applied to them, where 1/100 of an inch is sliced off of tender bits every day. So, curiosa, it's a wonderful term that means nothing. But it allows you to hide, to intimate that all sorts of erotic things are hiding behind in this book. So, flaws, if a book is 300 years old, it probably will have some flaws. But, of course, we dealers always say these are natural, not caused by rats, mice, children, rainstorms, things like that. If the hinges are a trifle weak, well, do we really have to tell you that there's a rubber band holding the covers on? If you don't see the book, well, what the heck? And miniature books. These are very cute, but essentially useless. If you have little doll houses, they're absolutely marvelous to put in there. For other purposes, so rare, you can apply that to any book you've not seen before. That's rare. That's a good way. Or rare in this state. Just make sure that we make sure that that the printer, when they do our catalogs, does not capitalize state. So, and rebacking. This is something that's done when the covers are coming off of the book. We save the covers and put it back together. It gets lifted off and reattached. So it's always qualified with skillfully or neatly, so that we didn't just sort of do it badly. So Scotch tape. This is the world's worst thing. All right. Scotch tape should never, ever come near any book you own. It is an invention of Satan. It can actually be removed, but the stains frequently cannot. All right? Don't ever do anything to a book that is not reversible. All right? That is the cardinal rule. And stains, well, we just indicate it's stained. We don't tell you particularly why or how, because after 200 years, it all looks like cocoa. Pretty easy. And trimmed, well, that's the edges of the book, not what we do to the customer. All right? And washing. A lot of times you'll find a book described as having been washed. What that involves is completely taking it apart and doing just that. You wash it in a bath of water and chemicals. Well, that takes out all of the stains, but it also takes out a lot of the ink. It takes out the sizing of the paper, and it's not that good a thing to do. So a washed book was very, very popular in the late 19th century, wash books, but beware. And a working copy, finally, any copy that is foxed, loose, wrenched, dug, stained, trimmed, worn, torn, and all in one glorious mess. It's helpful if the text is there. Then you can say it is a scholar's copy. Okay? So there's a huge arcana of adjectives behind which book dealers will put their books. It's a lot of fun reading catalogs because you're always amazed at what they come up with. But most dealers do issue catalogs. And by all means, ask for a catalog. And when you go to the shows, catalogs will be available at the different booths. Pick them up. If something looks interesting or attractive to you, get a copy of the catalog and look through it. But I will caution you, if you get on a dealer's mailing list and they send you catalogs and you find something, don't dally, because you're in competition with an unknown number of other collectors. So pick up that phone and go for it right away. If it's something you really want, because opportunity only knocks once. Temptation bangs on the door for years, but temptation as opposed to opportunity. So, here's some sources. ABE books. That's what we use all the time, because this literally will show you dealers, thousands of dealers around the world. And you can compare conditions, number of copies, prices. Via Libre and AdAll are a couple of meta search sites where they go out and they will search ABE, A-Libras, ILAB, and dozens of other sites all around the world. Reference works, if you're particularly interested in Americana and American exploration, Sabin is an example. The short title catalog, if you're looking at books printed in England before 1640, very specific. And bibliography of American literature, if you're looking for specific 19th century literature. There are many, many, many different reference works. Our reference library at work takes up 2 rooms. So, thank you for coming to this. Be sure to take a look at the gallery. Excuse me. And are there questions? Yes, sir.
I was curious, looking at all the books, there's a wide difference in their appearance because of the paper. And I was wondering if you could say a little about what paper is more archival. Is vellum the longer lasting paper, or what about papers?
Paper from Gutenberg's time up through the beginning of the 19th century was rag paper. Literally, it was linen rags that were shredded and beaten in water. And then the soup was drawn up on a screened form, and you wound up with something that looked like blotting paper, and then it had sizing applied to it. This stuff is exceptionally durable because it's linen. It's very long fibers. Because of, again, economics in the 19th century, they started using wood